This conference will now be recorded.
All right, so getting started. It is June 16th, zoning board meeting. And to start off the new normal, I've got to read a statement. I'll go ahead and go through that, and I'll explain after that. I'll explain how the meeting will go. So as chairman of the Tilton Zoning Board of Adjustments, due to the COVID-19 corona crisis and in accordance with the Governor Sununu's Emergency Order Number 12, pursuant to Executive Order 2002-04, this board is authorized to meet electronically. Please note that there is no physical location to observe and listen contemporaneously to this meeting. Which was authorized pursuant to the governor's emergency order. However, in accordance with the emergency order, this is to confirm that we are providing public access to the meeting by telephone with additional access possibilities by video or other electronic means. We are utilizing the GoToMeeting platform for this electronic meeting. All members of the Tilton Zoning Board have the ability to communicate contemporaneously during this meeting through this platform, and the public has access to contemporaneously listen and, if necessary, participate in this meeting through dialing the phone number 1-866-699-4679 and using PIN 811-952-253. Also, providing public notice of the necessary information for accessing the meeting via our website and the town kiosk located outside Town Hall. Also, providing a mechanism for the public to alert the public body during the meeting if there are problems with access. If anybody has a problem, please call 617-286-4206 or email web@tiltonnh.org, both of which are monitored during the meeting. And also adjourning the meeting if the public is unable to access the meeting. In the event the public is unable to access the meeting, we will adjourn the meeting and have it rescheduled at that time. If you are a member of the public listening in and have questions, please write them down. Please write your questions down. We will make time for the public to comment and ask questions during the meeting. Please note all votes that are taken during this meeting shall be done by roll call vote. And so let's start. And so to start the meeting, we're going to go ahead and take a roll call of attendance. And Leanne, that is everyone on the meeting, not just board members. Is that correct? You're muted, Leanne.
Yep. Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Yep. Yeah, I keep forgetting. Yeah, you should ask for everyone in the meeting.
Okay, so everyone in the meeting, and also you'll need to state if you are alone in the room or not. If you're with someone, you'll have to state that as well. So I will go ahead and start off. My name is Jim Engel. I am alone in this room.
I am Eric Usinger. I am alone in this room.
I am Brian Chapman. I am alone in this room.
Matt Gilman, alone.
Leanne Moynihan. Alone. Okay, Janice. Leanne Moynihan, and I'm alone.
I'm Blaine Drew, and I'm alone.
Tim Pearson, and I'm alone. Tim, your audio is really soft. I can hear you clearly, but it's really low. Just to let you know, Tim.
He's not really at the meeting.
Yeah,
and
I know.
Mandy, if you want to introduce yourself, that would be good too. Mandy and you.
Yes.
Are we muted?
You aren't?
No, I can hear you.
Okay, so I am in the room with my husband, Ian Hagan.
Okay. And is that Janice?
Yep, Janice Delacosta, introduce my
Okay. All right. So we've got the housekeeping formalities out of the way. move right on to, yes,
If
go
you could
ahead.
just ask, people should mute when they're not speaking because there's a lot of background sometimes. So if you can mute if you're not speaking, it makes it easier for who is speaking. Okay, thanks.
Yes, thank you. So I'll go ahead and kind of briefly discuss what we're going to be doing and kind of the flow of the meeting. We'll start out with a few things that we have to do as far as the zoning board. Then we'll get into the case that we're here to hear, and then questions and answers. Discuss it. Open to the public for public comment, questions and input, and then we will move towards a vote. So that'll be the basic flow of the meeting. To start off, the approval of the minutes of the May 19th zoning board. Did all of the zoning board members get the minutes and have a chance to read through them?
I did.
Yes.
Brian Chapman, I did.
Yes.
Okay. Any comments or questions about them? And if not, I'll give it a few seconds. We can move towards a vote if anybody doesn't have any thoughts. Okay, guess that's a no. So,
Motion.
any motions?
I motion
make-
to accept the minutes from the last meeting.
Okay, I second that motion. Eric, that was you that made that
Yes.
motion? Okay.
Yeah.
And I second that motion. All right, all in favor of accepting the minutes? Roll call vote, Leanne?
So Eric Usinger,
Yes.
Brian Chapman,
In favor.
Matt Gilman,
Yes.
and Jim Engel.
Yes.
Thank you.
And that is everyone, so no need to ask if any oppose. So minutes are approved. All right, so that is all of the, yeah, any other business, Leanne? That's everything?
No, I think we're all set. We can move on to your presentation of your application and then your public hearing. You're good.
All right, so we'll move into the case. It's zoning board case 2003. It's Rouse Services, 490 Laconia Road, is requesting a special exception from Article 6, Appendix B, Section E.1B to allow for commercial office retail in a mixed-use zone. So,
If you want
Madeline,
me to,
yes.
I could clarify why they need this to begin with. I know I talked to Matt earlier
Okay.
and there was a little bit of confusion. So I guess
Yeah.
for everyone on the board. So this is an existing building at 490 Laconia Road. I believe it was an ice cream shop and maybe a restaurant, maybe some residents. Mandy might know more about the building than even I do at this point, but it's been abandoned or vacant for quite a while and it's pretty run down. Rouse Services is looking to open that building, renovate it, clean it up, and use it for office. It'll be a single use. I think there won't be any tenants. Rouse is going to be the sole occupant of that building. The reason they need a special exception is because your ordinance says that anything over 3,000 square feet of commercial space in the mixed-use zone for retail is allowed, but by special exception. Under 3,000, it doesn't need a special exception in the mixed use.
Okay.
Rao also is going to be expanding that use by, I think, moving their entire business, and they will be submitting a full site plan to the planning board, but it'll be coming a few months down the road, I believe. They're working on that. But they want to get started with using just the building as it exists now, no expansion of the footprint. So all they need right now from us to get a building permit to do those renovations, cleanup, and general maintenance is a special exception. And just one more thing, I know I sent a memo to all of you about a site walk, and special exceptions require 3 members of the board to have done a site visit. So as you do your deliberation or your review, just make sure everyone weighs in on whether that was done or we need to schedule that. Okay?
Okay. Yeah, and actually, I was going to thank you. I was going to start off with that, the site visit. So, do we want to do just a show of hands, a roll call, or just how many people have been? How do you want to document this? That we've had at least 3 people.
Well, I guess you can just, yeah, I mean, if, just in general, has everyone been to the site? I think I actually spoke to Brian, Matt, and yourself, Jim, that have been. Eric's the only one I don't know that he has been to the site, but all you need is 3 to move forward. So,
Okay. So at this point, I have been, and my understanding is the 2 others have been, so that's 3. Eric?
I was there probably about a half a month ago. I stopped at the place opposed to it, but I did not walk physically the site.
okay.
All right. So we've got the 3 required. So let's move on. And Madeline, Ian, go ahead and let us know what you're planning and I guess, present your case. You're muted.
You're muted. We can't hear you.
Maybe upper right corner.
You should see a gear icon in the top right, and if you click on that, you should see audio settings there, and you can check and see which microphone you're using. Alternatively, if it appears to be a problem, you can always continue the video but call in on a phone.
Yeah, Mandy, you don't have a little microphone next to your name anymore. It just has a little X next to
Call
audio.
in. That works. Be sure to.
Do you have the number?
I think she does. Looks like she's dialing.
Yep.
Okay. You're going to want to mute your computer speaker. Oh.
Can you hear us now?
Yeah. There we go. Looks like you got a mic going.
All right, perfect.
Yeah,
Okay.
All right.
Sorry about that.
We can run Zoom like a champ, but GoToMeeting for us. Jeez. I wanted to just clarify one thing that Leanne mentioned. You gave a great overview of our project, Leanne. We're not moving our entire business over there. So we're only hoping to move maybe like 25, 40% of it over there. Our intent for over at the new location is to provide a place for our customers to come and meet us and see an actual sales floor so they can look at the products, look at the heating systems, look at the mini splits, have conversations, and hopefully work some sales out of there, as well as moving our call team over there, which includes inbound and outbound. So it will be a combination of retail space for customers coming and going, as well as my office team. Right now we have people sitting in our kitchen, and we're under tight quarters, so we need to spread out a little bit and have a little bit of privacy and some extra room. If some of you don't know, we're currently on Route 140 in Northfield, right over the Northfield line on the right-hand side. So this will be an addition. We won't be able to move our entire business over there. So
Just one thing then, Manny. I thought you were going to move some trucks, some commercial vehicles, and that type of thing eventually over there. Is that this versus the reason why the site?
Exactly.
Right?
So that's what we're working on. We're working with Tim Bernier right now. We met with him today. He has done all of the site work and stuff, and he's going to be submitting. He's hoping to submit it for the August meeting. He's hoping to submit the information in July, but we have some research and things that we need clarification on and to get everything finalized. Okay. So the most important part is I have people wanting to come back from work, but we don't have room for them. So I can't bring them back into the office because I have no place for them to sit. So I have a good part of our team working remotely. So we'd like to get started on the building. We did manage to cut the grass, so if any of you had to walk the property, we apologize for 2 feet of grass, but it's starting to look a lot better over there already. So
Yeah, one dumpster load of trash went out today, so it's good.
Good.
Yeah.
yeah. So, you know, our hope with the property, if any of you know the building that we refurbished over in Northfield, it was the JJ Border Mattress Building or PK Zyler's, or from way back, I think it was called the Outer Banks, which was a kind of a bar area. So this facility really provided good bones for us and a layout that we could really work with without making too many modifications, really any modifications to the building, with the exception of some new siding. We're going to put all new windows in. It needs a new roof, so we'll be replacing the roof. And then inside, it had a flood a couple of years back, 6-7 years back, when it was the previous owner. So it had been ripped down to the studs. So it's pretty messy inside, but it has some really good bones to work with. So we put some vision and some pen on paper and came up with a really, really great design for it. So our intent is to make it a really great, classy place for customers to come, any customers that we serve in the Lakes region. And obviously we like the location as well. So I can tell you main floor, right now the plan is to have 2 small office spaces, and then the rest of it will be all open concept for our salesmen, or our comfort advisors is what we call them, on the main level. And then upstairs will be 4 smaller offices, as well as some cubicles set up for our call center team. And then downstairs will be the break area and the mechanical room. All the mechanical items will be moved into one small corner location, and we'll have a break room that will also give us access out to the backside of the property. There's a great little, I'll call it a sunroom for lack of a better word, on the backside that I think is just a great spot to kind of collaborate and meet and do some teamwork items and stuff. So really the structure itself isn't changing. We're just going to make it look a lot nicer. It's my dog.
It's our dog, sorry.
It's okay.
Are there any specific questions that we can answer for you guys?
Okay. So the special exception requirement is the 3,000 square foot. Under that, you don't need the special exception. Above that, you do. What type of square footage are we talking about with what your plans are and where you plan to go with it, kind of the bigger picture future?
Sure. So the building dimensions are 44 by 32. So it's about 14, this is existing right now, it's about 1,408 square feet per level. The top level is smaller because it's a salt box, so it's pitched back a little bit on the back side of the building. So if you add those 3 together, this is kind of rough numbers, it's 1,408 times 3, so it brings it to about 4,200 square feet as it is right now.
Okay. And as far as the scope of the project, and also Leanne, if you could weigh in on this as well, there's different phases to the project, and I understand there's more planning and more work to be done. As far as what we're doing here today, do we need to look only at the existing structure? Because they're only talking about cleaning up the existing footprint, roof, siding, so forth, landscaping. We're not really talking about any other site work as far as outbuildings and other things. So do we only need to discuss just the main building? Is that the reason we're talking right now, or do we need to look at it in the mindset that this property is going to be growing? Leanne?
Yeah, to answer that, am I not me? I'm on,
No,
right?
we hear you.
I believe we're only looking at this for the use of over 3,000 square foot commercial building. It is,
Okay.
again, the special exception is an allowed use by special exception. So, Yeah, you're limiting to what they're not expanding the footprint. They're not doing anything on the exterior. So you are allowing a variance for the use of the building for this commercial use. So that's how I'm interpreting that special exception.
Okay.
And
And
if anyone disagrees, they certainly can disagree with my interpretation. We can.
yeah, that's what I'm hearing as well. I just wanted to clarify. And also looking through the special exception criteria, that I was just kind of thinking about that with the growth of the business at this site. There's going to be other planning and zoning involvement as the business grows, or the different structures on the property grow, is my understanding. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Right, but I don't think, Mandy didn't lead me to believe that there were going to be any additional buildings going on the site. The only expansion I thought was going to be more parking and use of the parking area for storing vehicles. Is that correct, Mandy?
That's correct.
I mean, if they did put another building, they might have to revisit this board if it was another expansion, but I didn't think that was what their direction. They're going to the planning board more for the site, for the changes to the site eventually.
Yeah,
Okay.
we evaluated with Tim Bernier today to see what options we do have. Ultimately, our goal is to bring some parking over there for our vehicles, as our excavators, and possibly if we can, if the land allows, if you guys allow us to provide some of the material on site that we don't have access to on the weekends, which consists of like loam and bark mulch and 3/4 inch stone and things like that. But of course, that will all be part of figuring out what we can and can't do. But we knew the property really works well for us from an office standpoint. So we wanted to kind of start that process and get moving on that first. But of course, we wouldn't do anything without any approval and going through the proper channels with you guys.
Okay.
Right, and Jim, I wanted to allow them the use of that building, a little more quickly, so we wanted to make sure we covered our bases with zoning because it was over 3,000 square feet. So they're going to be limited to just the use of the building right now, assuming they are granted the special exception.
Okay. All right. Good. Yeah. Like I said, there's desire to grow and expand, which is great, and just want to have clarification on that. Okay. Let's see.
And I don't believe you're in the groundwater protection district either, Mandy. I didn't know if they had brought that up, because they would have to come for that, but I don't think it is in the groundwater.
No, it's not.
Okay. Does anyone else on the board have any questions?
I just was curious,
comments?
did we have to grant a special exemption for it when it was melt away?
Yes, there was a special exception. That's a good question, Matt. There is a special exception in the file. Actually, I'm not even sure it was a special exception. It might have even been a variance. But they did come to the board and were granted if Meltaway was the ice cream shop or something that was there. Is that right? Yeah, they did receive I guess a special exception. It probably was. Now I can't remember. From the board for that, but this obviously is different, so we need another one because they do follow the land, but this is a different type of business. So that was
because it's a different use, it needs to be
different use.
here.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
Makes sense. All right.
They could have put another restaurant in without it.
Yeah,
I would
there
like
you go.
ice cream. I'd be all for ice cream.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyone else on the board?
Jim, do you have
Yes.
the special exception criteria for this in front of you, Jim?
I do. I'm looking at it.
Okay, great.
Anyone else on the board? Okay. I can't think of any other questions at this point, so I think at this point we'll open it up to public comment. Is there anyone from the public here and would like to make a comment or have a question, have input? I do not hear anyone. And I'm assuming if you're unable to hear us, you would have tried to reach out at this point.
Boring crowd.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So at this point, there's no public comment, so we will move to looking at the special exception criteria. I have the sheet in front of me. I'll go ahead and read through those, and we'll discuss them as a board. Let's see. So the Board of Adjustments I don't know if I need to read all that. Basically, the special exception.
You can probably start with 11.4.2. The specific site is an appropriate location for such a use.
Yeah, I was starting with 11.4.1.
Okay.
But yeah, I'll just I'll go ahead and start with that. So 11.4.1, reading from the Town of Tilton zoning regulations, 2019 copy. It's page 39. And the Board of Adjustments may, in an appropriate case and subject to appropriate conditions and safeguards, grants permits for uses permitted as special exceptions as set forth in the articles of this ordinance. Before reaching a decision under this article, 3 members of the board shall have viewed the subject area. It's already determined that has happened. Said viewing shall be noted in their records. The board, in acting on the application for special exception, must find that all of the following conditions are met. So we'll go through those conditions. 11.4.2, the specific site is an appropriate location for such use. And Leanne, do you think we read them all and discuss them as a whole, or discuss them individually?
I think it probably would be easier just to address them individually, so that, like, does everyone agree that the site is appropriate, and just go through the 4 items,
Okay.
actually.
And we're not going to do a roll call approval of
right.
each. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So the first being the specific site is an appropriate location for such use. So putting it out to the board, questions, thoughts, or comments on that? I'll go ahead and start off. I believe the site location, the area, it is appropriate for the requested use. What does everybody else feel?
I would agree with you. It was business prior. It's business still. Both sides of the street. I would agree with you wholeheartedly.
I would feel the same as a roofing business that just went in next to it. I think it fits
Yeah.
the area fine.
Yep.
I 100% approve the project.
The one, it's not really, I guess, when I was there, I was looking at it, and the fence that is between the gravel parking lot and the house next to it, I was just thinking about that house and the proximity to the parking lot and some of the hours mentioned. I mean, it's a business. It's been a business. It's always been a business. It's been an ice cream place that had probably weekend and night hours, so this is nothing new. But I was just thinking along the lines of close proximity to a residential neighbor was just a thought I had. Moving on to the next one, 11.4.3. No factual evidence is found that the property values in the district will be reduced due to the incompatible land use by such a use. Does anybody have any thoughts on how this is going to impact? Is this going to negatively impact the value in the area? I don't see that it will.
You're not storing anything there, as opposed, like, you're not storing any materials that could be, what do I want to say, fumous smelling.
Hmm.
Yeah.
No, good point.
Yeah.
I mean, they mentioned some stone or some mulch I mean, that's
Yeah.
not a, yeah.
Yeah.
So you're thinking of chemicals, you're thinking of things along that nature?
I am thinking of chemicals. I am thinking of sewage, obviously. I am thinking anything that could be, in the summer day like we have, would make outdoor living would smell impossible. And so, yeah, it's a thought.
Yeah. So are we right by saying this is more of a retail office location and less of a storage, Madeline?
Do you want can I comment on this section or no?
Yes. No, sorry.
Okay. All right. I
I'm
wasn't sure
asking you a
I
question.
wasn't sure
Yeah,
that we
please.
could.
No, that's fine.
Yeah, so the question is that it would just be the office retail location for this phase. So there's no intention of doing anything that would create harm or devalue the area. If anything, I know that our plans with the property are hopefully going to add value to that area. That's kind of we'll call it the rough area that needs some improvements. And I know
Yep.
Blaine Drew is next door. He just bought the building to the right of us. And he's doing a lot of good work there to kind of spruce up that side. So if I could just comment on were you talking about the fence, if you're facing the front of the property, the fence on the left or the fence on the right?
The one on the left.
Okay, so they're both pretty dilapidated. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Yeah,
yeah, it appears that the surveyor said that does run in between the neighbors and us, and it's kind of split on the property line. So the condition of that fence is really poor. So our intent there is, when we're working with Tim Bernier to finalize our plan, come up with something more aesthetic and appealing to that side. The other side of the fence on the right-hand side was torn down today. It was falling apart. So.
And the reason why we, for the other fence is the surveyor thought that because of the way that the fence is, the finished edge of the fence is on the resident's house. It's not on on our side. So you see the supports going across on the back side of it that hold the fence together. So typically that's owned by whoever, by them.
Yeah.
So if it's
finished side always goes to the side that doesn't own the fence. The unfinished side always goes to the people who own the fence.
Yep.
That's the law.
Okay.
So we own the fence between us and the roofing company. We do not own the fence between us and the residents.
Okay. Okay. Any other comments about that?
Well, my comment was, so no chemicals or waste will be held at that site there.
That's correct. Not as part of this project. We don't know what we can or can't do over there. So I don't want to say no, that will never happen, but we just don't know. If we could store a septic truck over there at some point in the future as part of phase 2, I'd like to bring that to the board and have a conversation about it. The trucks typically, if it were there, the trucks need to be in heated space, especially in the winter. But they come, they leave empty and they come home empty. So it's a matter of a vehicle coming in and out. As far as an excavator coming in on a trailer, there isn't anything hazardous there. We have we have 40 something vehicles, which is why they're split 2 locations. Most of them are trailers, small box trucks, 8 foot, 10 foot, 12 foot, a couple 16 feet. Those are all your typical kind of passenger vans, with the exception of, the bigger trucks.
And
so for this phase, there will be
nothing
waste trucks. Okay.
That's correct. There won't be. Yeah.
Okay.
This is strictly just for the business and the retail and the office location, and getting our team over and to work into that site. So everything else will come later at the next meeting, when we can figure out the best layout, how to split it up, what works, what doesn't work.
Thank you.
Makes sense.
There will be, I should clarify, there will be obviously some of our company trucks, our electrician's truck will be there when they're doing work on the building. They might have to stop
Right.
in and see our support staff, but
Yeah.
Yep.
Makes sense. So I don't think we ever addressed the number 3 being the no factual evidence is found that property values in the district will be reduced due to incompatible land use by such a use. So by what they're asking to do, again, in this phase, we're talking the office workers, retail space in this phase, and the plans they're presenting for cleaning up the building, exterior and grounds. We don't see that it's going to be negative impact to the property values, and I don't see that it will be. Does anybody else on the board have another opinion? Okay, I see heads shaking no. Moving on to the next. 11.4.4. There is no valid objection from the abutters based on demonstrable fact. We opened it to the public. There was no public comment, so there is no valid objection. So we can move on with that one. Let's see. 11.4.5. No nuisance or hazard is involved. Again, we're talking about just retail and office space. So there's no hazard I see with that at this point. Any other thoughts from the board?
No, that was my question. Yeah.
Okay. I got to keep opening it up to you because since we're not in a room, I got to make it official that I've asked your opinion. Otherwise, we'd be all on camera nodding our heads no and moving right on. All right, so 11.4.6. Adequate and appropriate facilities will be provided for the proper operation of the proposed use. I see that with the plans that they've proposed with the floor plan interior, there'll be plenty of facilities to facilitate what they're wanting to do. And
Yep.
I see heads shaking yes. So
Yes.
11.4.8. The operations in conjunction with such a use shall not be more objectionable to nearby properties by reason of noise, fumes, odor, or vibration that would be the operation of any permitted use or uses in the district which would not subject the special exception procedures. So if someone else was to use this property and not need a special exception, would that use be any less impactful than this use? Again, they're talking about a retail office space. I don't see it being any of the noise, fumes, odor, vibration, none of that applies. So again, I don't see that being the case here either. And I see that the rest of the board agrees with that by the nodding of heads.
Yes.
So that's all of the criteria of the special exception. And I think at this point, any other comments or thoughts from the board before we move towards a vote?
I think it makes sense. I think that the questions about what they were going to do outside of it are valid, but my understanding is that this is specifically applying to them using more than 3,000 square feet of a building for retail space, and I think it meets all those fine.
Yep, I would agree with that. I mean, it's the existing footprint, and it's been used in the existing footprint for a while. Yeah, I see. It's a perfect direction. All right, so I say we're ready to move towards a vote. And anybody have any motions? Well, I'll go ahead and I move that we approve the request for a special exception for RAL services, the from Article 6, Appendix B, Section E, 1B. Any
To allow, just put what
the whole thing? Okay.
well,
To
just so that,
allow,
it's not an ice
yep,
cream shop. It's to allow
yeah,
3,000.
to allow a commercial office retail in a mixed use zone.
Thank
That's
you.
my full proposal.
Seconded.
Okay, that was Matt. Matt that seconded. All in favor? Leanne, roll call vote.
Brian Chapman,
I approve.
Matt Gilman,
Approve. I don't know if we should technically allow for discussion, not that I think we've already done it, but just for the sake of the order.
sure. You want to hold off on the vote?
Yeah, we can hold on off a vote. Any discussion? Yeah.
No.
I'm all set at this point.
Me too. Didn't mean to make it more complicated, just trying to.
No,
Yeah, it's a
no,
good
it's good.
move. It's a good
Yeah.
move, you know.
Yep. Okay. So
Okay, we'll do the roll call again. So roll call one more time. We'll start with Brian Chapman,
I'm in favor.
Eric Husinger,
I approve.
Matt Gilman,
In favor.
and Jim Engel.
I approve. That's everyone. So no need to ask if anybody does not approve. So it is. It's passed.
Thank you guys very
Good.
much. We're really excited. We've wanted to be in Tilton for 17 years. It took us a long time to find a place in Tilton, but we think it's perfect. So thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you,
Well,
guys.
thanks for
Very
purchasing the
good.
property and doing something with it.
Congratulations.
Sure.
Yeah.
Thank
Making it better.
Yep.
Right.
Mhm.
Cool.
Thanks, man.
Good visit.
All right. So that is all the business that I know of. Leanne, do you have anything?
No, the only other thing is, we might be continuing. I just wanted to kind of give you a heads up on these remote meetings.
Okay.
The town hall will be opening up to the public, but that said, it's going to be very limited and controlled, and it's not going to be the old way. So there was discussion on how we're going to continue with these meetings, that even if it's open to the public, it's going to be kind of difficult to have these meetings and sit 6 feet apart and record them and allow public in and limit public in our space. So we may continue to have these remote meetings, even though as we move forward through the summer. So I kind of wanted to give everybody a little bit of a heads up on that.
Okay.
If you had any objection to that, I guess now's the time to talk about it, because they're going to be talking to the selectmen, I think, about it. But I think it's working okay for us right now.
Yeah.
It seems to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's really about all I had.
All right. That's all I had. So I will move it right along to make a motion to adjourn. Any seconds?
I second that.
That was Eric that seconded it. So all in favor? We need to do a roll call
In
vote
favor.
on.
Yeah, we do actually.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll just go Brian Chapman,
I'm in favor.
Eric Husinger,
Agreed.
Matt Gilman,
Yes.
and Jim Engel.
I'm in favor. We're
All right.
adjourned.
All right. Have a nice summer.
All right. You
Thank
too.
you.
Thanks.
Thanks,
Bye,
guys.
everyone.
Thank you all.
Bye.
What's that?
Hey, Leanne, you don't have to end the recording. It'll just do it automatically.
Okay, so I just shut it off.
Yep,
Okay.
you could just end and it'll end the meeting for everybody. Or
Okay.
I can do it here. So thanks, Leanne.
Thanks. All right.
Bye.